We're under 2 weeks away from America's game as the Black Knights and the Midshipmen get set to meet for the 120th time this year here from Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia.
And today marks the official kickoff for the Army-Navy game presented by USAA as the festivities begin here at the annual kickoff luncheon.
And we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to preview the games from both the Army and Navy side. I'm Zach Daly. I'll be representing the Black Knights. We'll talk to the head coach of the Black Knights, Jeff Munkin, as well as two-time captain Cole Christensen as Army looks for their 4th win in a row over Navy.
And I'm Brianna Sorensen, representing the Navy side. We'll catch up with head coach Ken Niumatalolo and senior quarterback Malcolm Perry as Navy looks to reclaim the Commander-in-Chief's trophy.
And we'll do a lot more during this show as we'll take a look at some memorable moments throughout the series history for both Army and Navy.
And if it's your first time going to the game like myself, or if you've been there quite a few times like Zach, we'll make sure to talk about all the festivities happening around Philadelphia leading up to the game on December 14th.
A lot has happened for the Black Knights since these two teams met last year here in Philadelphia. Army came into the 2019 season on a 9-game winning streak and had high expectations. They've had an up and down year since then. They've had their big moments going toe-to-toe with a national powerhouse as they took Michigan to double overtime in Ann Arbor. But consistency has been an issue for the Black Knights as they've battled injuries up and down their lineup throughout the entire season. Let's take a look at 2019 for the Army Black Knights. After becoming the first Army quarterback to run and throw for over 1,000 yards in the same season, Kelvin Hopkins returned to lead the Black Knights offense. But Hopkins, like many of his teammates, battled injuries throughout the year. Over the last few games, however, Hopkins looks to be regaining his 2018 form, rushing for 325 yards and 2 touchdowns in the last 3 games. The patented Army rushing attack was fronted by 2 fullbacks, junior Sandy McCoy and senior Connor Slomka, who have combined for 18 rushing touchdowns on the season. Defensively, the Black Knights are led by their 2 defensive captains, linebacker Cole Christensen, who leads the team with 103 tackles, and cornerback Elijah Riley, who causes havoc all over the field. The Long Island native has posted 4 sacks while also accounting for 6 caused turnovers. Riley and the rest of the senior class come into their final Navy game aiming to do something that hasn't been done at West Point since the class of 1997. Go undefeated in their career against Navy. We're now joined by Cole Christensen. And Cole, you guys are coming off 3 straight wins. You're looking to do something a team hasn't done since the 1996 team and be a class since 97 that's beaten Navy in all 4 years. What would that mean to this senior class to be able to do that?
It'd mean everything to us because it's exactly what we were recruited to West Point to do, to beat Navy, and we want to keep that alive and join that small fraternity. Just like you said, there's not a lot of people that have said that they've beaten Navy 4 times in a row, and we want to join that fraternity and be a part of that brotherhood.
Well, you guys have 3 memorable wins over Navy, 16, 17, and 18. I know it's hard for you to pick just one, but what game and what moment stands out from those 3 in the 3-game winning streak you guys have?
Yeah, they've all been special. They really have. But I think the snow game 2 years ago was probably my favorite game. And I just remember it was like the most critical 3rd down, I think, in the final drive. And I just remember, like, that's a moment where I should have been the most focused in the whole game. And I just remember looking up and seeing the snowfall and looking at the people. And I literally had an out-of-body experience. It was unreal. I just remember that being a very spiritual moment for me, and I'll remember that forever.
Well, take me back to that 2016 game. You guys break the streak that year, but go back. What was that first class saying to you as freshmen and what this game meant to not only the program but the entire academy? And how's that message kind of changed to what you're going to deliver to these freshmen on Saturday next week?
Yeah, I think it definitely was different because those guys had never felt what it feels like to be Navy, and I think they were so hungry and thirsty to finally get it. And when we finally did beat them, you know, that was the greatest elation that any of them could have ever felt, and what I felt, it was amazing. And now it means everything to us to continue winning and keep that alive. And we want the underclassmen to have that same experience that we've had to keep the streak alive, keep winning. So that's what we're going to preach. I mean, like, say, look, man, this is the most important game of the year, and you got to keep winning.
Well, Cole, thanks for a few minutes. Good luck next weekend.
Thank you.
Now let's head over to Brianna Sorensen to see how Navy's 2019 season has gone.
Thanks, Zach. A lot has changed for Navy from last season to this season. As the most improved football team in all of Division I football, Navy not only has a 9-2 record, but is also AAC Co-West Division champions with Memphis. Let's take a look at all of the success that Navy has had so far this season. Head coach Ken Niumatalolo attributes this season's success to two key factors: senior quarterback Malcolm Perry and first-year defensive coordinator Brian Newberry. After going back and forth between the slot back and quarterback positions the last two seasons, this season Perry has had one of the best seasons a quarterback has had in school history, rushing for 1,500 yards and 19 touchdowns while throwing for 1,027 yards and 6 touchdowns. Perry has been so dominant that he was named the AAC Offensive Player of the Year for Navy, and next Saturday needs just 88 yards to set the single season record for rushing yards, and only 69 yards to set the school single season record for total offense. Behind Perry, fullback Jamel Carruthers, and a dominant offensive line, Navy enters Saturday's game averaging 360 yards per game, which would be a school record and leads the country by more than 49 yards over the next closest team. While Perry has accounted for a large part of Navy's offensive success, first-year defensive coordinator Brian Newberry has taken the midshipmen's defense to a whole new level. Newberry and his staff have led the defensive unit to massive improvements in almost every major category, including rushing defense, total defense, scoring defense, and third down defense. With both sides of the ball succeeding this season, Navy now has one goal on their mind. I'm here with senior quarterback Malcolm Perry. Malcolm, you've been to 3 other Army-Navy games. How would you describe the atmosphere to a teammate who's never been before?
It's definitely different. Obviously it's the biggest game of the year. It's something that you can't prepare for, but it's nice to have some advice. And I would say, just try to make it as normal as possible. Get in your normal routine. Every game, you played in. Just try to keep it as similar as possible. But obviously there's going to be nerves. The crowd's a lot bigger, the stadium's bigger, and the stakes are a lot bigger. So there's obviously going to be natural nerves, but let's try to keep it as positive as possible.
Last regular season game, last Army-Navy game, how bittersweet is it?
It's extremely bittersweet. Been with the senior class 4 years, some 5. Ending on the right note would be, the best way to go out, but, ending it, period, is kind of sad. I love the game, love my teammates, so it'll be bittersweet for sure.
What would this Army-Navy win mean to you?
It would mean a lot. Obviously, like I said, it's the biggest game of the year. Winning this, could change the outlook on, my entire time here at the academy. Obviously we haven't won one yet. So winning this one would be huge.
Thanks, Malcolm.
Thank you.
And Zach, back to you.
Thanks, Bree. As many of you are aware, this season marks the 150th of college football, and the Army-Navy game, which is now being played for the 120th time, is among the most unique and special rivalries not only in college football, but in all of sports. There have been memorable moments on both sides, heartbreaking losses and thrilling wins. And we asked you, the fans, to help us on social media come up with the top 3 moments for both Army and Navy. We'll start the countdown with the Army number 3 moment in the history of the Army-Navy game. Coming in at number 3 is Army's win in 1996. Trailing 21-13 at halftime, Army clawed within 2 after an 81-yard touchdown run by Bobby Williams. Demetrius Perry added a touchdown on the next series to give the Black Knights a 25-21 lead. Each team would add a field goal, but Navy drove the ball inside the Army 10-yard line twice late in the game. However, the Army defense came up with 2 historic goal line stands to defeat Navy and win the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. Brianna, what's the number 3 moment for Navy?
One of Navy's most memorable moments has to go to the 1989 Army-Navy game. With Army leading 17-16 in the final minute, Navy managed to drive the ball to the Army 15, setting up kicker Frank Schenk with a 32-yard field goal attempt from the middle of the field. With 11 seconds left in the game, they made the game-winning field goal to bring in a 19-17 Navy victory in front of 75,721 people.
Number 2 for the Black Knights is a moment that Army fans won't forget anytime soon. Army ended Navy's 14-game winning streak with a 21-17 win in 2016. Firstie safety Xavier Moss forced a fumble and intercepted a pass on Navy's first 2 possessions, and Andy Davidson scored 2 first-half touchdowns to give Army a 14-0 lead at halftime. Navy, however, would storm back in the second half with 17 straight points. But junior quarterback Ahmad Bradshaw would lead Army on an 80-yard touchdown drive, with the quarterback going in from 9 yards out to give the Black Knights their first win in the series since 2001.
My second best Army-Navy moment goes to the 2015 season. Navy kept the streak alive. The midshipmen rallied behind quarterback Keenan Reynolds for a 21-17 win to make it the 14th straight time beating Army. Reynolds set many records that day, the most touchdowns in Army-Navy history, the most rushing touchdowns in Division I history, and the most passing touchdowns in Navy history.
For Army's top moment, we go all the way back to 1945 to the nation's top 2 ranked teams in the Black Knights and the Midshipmen. Led by 2 future Heisman Trophy winners, Doc Blanchard and Glenn Davis, the cadets marched to a 32-13 victory over Navy. Blanchard scored 3 times, 1 touchdown coming off an interception, while Davis added another score as the Black Knights would cap their second straight undefeated season and the second of 3 straight national championships. Bree, what's the top moment for Navy?
My all-time Army-Navy moment has to go to the December 7th, 1963 game. Just days before the game was supposed to be played, on November 26th, Navy quarterback Roger Staubach was awarded the Heisman Trophy. But Staubach said he didn't care about the Heisman that day. Just 4 days earlier, President John F. Kennedy had been assassinated on November 22nd in Dallas. On the same day that Staubach was announced the Heisman Trophy winner, it was announced that the Army-Navy game would be delayed 1 week to December 7th due to the military observing a 30-day mourning period. While mourning may have impacted the days leading up to the game, once the game started, more than 100,000 fans packed the stadium. Fans said that the competition was fierce and the atmosphere was electric. Navy fullback Pat Donnelly led the team with 3 touchdowns, and Navy's defense held on for the win amidst a nail-biting finish. With Navy leading 21-7 with just 10 minutes left on the clock, Army scored a touchdown, recovered the onside kick, and drove for the game-tying score before running out of time. Navy won that day 21-15.
Well, both Army and Navy having a lot of memorable moments. Those just the top 3. We want to thank all you fans for voting. Let's take a look back at last year's game as the Black Knights were able to defeat the Midshipmen 17-10 to extend their winning streak to 3.
1st and 10 for Army from its own 39. Hopkins will work out of the shotgun, and here's a handoff coming near side. It's Kel Walker, 40-yard line, 45, cuts back to midfield, sheds a tackler, cuts back to the 45, into Navy territory, 30-yard line, between the hashes, run down between the 15 and the 10-yard line, and goes down at the Navy 9-yard line. Juan Haley makes a touchdown-saving tackle, but Kel Walker with the big run downfield of 41 yards, and the Black Knights are in business. 1st and goal for Army at the Navy 10-yard line. Hopkins keeps it, runs left, cuts back to the 5, heads to the end zone, touchdown Army! The Black Knights are on the board with 12:34 remaining in the opening quarter. It was Kelvin Hopkins Jr. Army on top 7-0 from the right hash. Zach Abey with an I formation behind him. Back to throw, rolls to his left. Fires deep far sideline. Reynolds tipped it, but Clinton intercepted it at the 20-yard line. Breaks the tackle, 25-yard line, 30-yard line, tripped up far sideline at the 33. From their own 31 on the near hash. Hopkins under center, straight back to throw. Looking, loads up, fires, far side, and coming back, making the catch is Walker. Breaks the tackle, far sideline of the 50, run down from behind at the Navy 45-yard line. Diego Fugo makes the tackle. What a play by Kel Walker coming back for the football. Game-winning field goal attempt at the end of last year's game. The 2 false start penalties that hurt late in that drive on Navy. 3rd and 13, Abey straight back to throw, flings a pass near side, overthrown and juggling interception made by Mike Reynolds at the 49-yard line. That ball was heaved way over the head of Malcolm Perry, and it was Mike Reynolds, the juggling pick right near midfield. 1st and 10 for Navy from the Army 16-yard line. Some movement on the line, no whistle. Lewis keeps it, runs right, cuts back at the 10, fumbles the football. There's a pile up inside the 5-yard line, and it's Army football. The Black Knights recover it off the Garrett Lewis fumble. 10-7, a tight formation, a quarterback sneak. Kelvin Hopkins in for the touchdown. Kelvin Hopkins goes in on the quarterback sneak, and the celebration a minute 28 away here at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. For his center, Bryce Holland, 27 seconds to play. Hopkins takes a knee, hands the football to the official. The celebration begins here at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. A day for Army honoring the 1st Infantry Division. The Black Knights were first to the fight, and an historic performance by the Black Knights defense.
Last year, the Black Knights were able to get that win. We're now joined by the head coach of the Black Knights, Jeff Monken. And Coach, this game, you've been a part of it for many years. What's this game meant to you, not only to be able to see it, but to be able to coach in this game and get a very unique perspective?
It's just an incredible rivalry, not unlike any rivalry in sports. And to be a competitor in this game is just an honor and a privilege, and to represent so much more than ourselves personally, the teams we're on, to wear the colors of the men and women that serve is incredible. So we're excited again for this year.
Well, the last 3 years, you guys have been the victorious team, and to be able to break that streak, what's it going to mean for you to try and make that 4 years in a row? And for this senior class, who started off as freshmen, starting the streak, to become the first class in 20-plus years to go 4-0 against Navy?
As it is every year, it's going to have to be an incredible performance by our team, a great effort. Each of the games that I've been a part of here at Army have been one-score games. So I hope that we can have a chance to win it in the fourth quarter, as we have the last 3 years, either to score a touchdown, to take the lead, or to hold them off and keep them from scoring in order to win. So our guys will battle and will fight, as I know their team will. And to have a senior class that's got an opportunity to finish 4-0, I know it would be a great source of pride for them. Even after a season of some ups and downs, to have a finish like this would be incredible.
You touched on it briefly already, but the men who play in this game on both sides go on to do something a lot greater than almost any other college in the country. So what makes these players for both Army and Navy different, and what makes them so special and be able to coach them on a daily basis?
Well, just as each of their classmates has made a commitment to serve our nation. And it's not a commitment that every American is willing to make. And I really admire each of the young men that's playing in this game, and our Corps of Cadets and the Brigade of Midshipmen that have made that commitment to serve. And we all enjoy the freedoms that they protect for us, and for those men and women that serve around the world in our uniform protect for us on a daily basis. So just a privilege to be a part of this, and I love our team, I love our guys, and certainly respect their decision to serve our nation.
Well, Coach, thanks for a couple of minutes, and good luck next weekend against Navy.
Beat Navy.
Now let's head over to Brianna Sorensen, as she'll give us a timeline of events and what to do next weekend when you're in Philadelphia.
There are so many different things happening around town leading up to the game. Starting on Friday, December 13th, there will be an Army-Navy pep rally at 12 o'clock. The Academy pep bands, cheerleaders, and fans will get fired up at the official pep rally. Official Army-Navy merchandise will also be sold throughout the event. Throughout Friday and Saturday will be one of the most exciting Army-Navy festivities, the Patriot Games, presented by USAA. The Patriot Games is a spectacular two-day competition between cadets and midshipmen. Points are entered through 5 events such as the Rocky Relay, Leadership Reaction Course, Pull-Up Challenge, Tug of War, and Stadium Obstacle Relay. Also, you don't want to miss out on the Army-Navy Philly Fun Run starting on Saturday at 7:30 a.m. The Fun Run is a light-paced, military-themed guided run with a cheesesteak finish. On game day, you also don't want to miss the official Army-Navy tailgate at Citizens Bank Park from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Gates open for the game at 11 a.m. And make sure you get to the game early, because you definitely don't want to miss the cadets and midshipmen march on the field at 11:55 a.m. And then the moment we've all been waiting for, kickoff, is at 3 o'clock. Head coach Ken Niumatalolo, you've been to so many different Army-Navy games, but does it ever get old walking onto that field and seeing how electric the crowd is?
No, this is, I can't remember, 22nd year, and never gets old, never changes. The butterflies are always there. The specialness of this game, the pageantry of it never gets old, and it's it's always special.
And there's so many different rivalries in college football. What makes this Army-Navy rivalry so special?
I think what makes the Army-Navy game rivalry special is just because it's America's game, and I think it covers our whole country. There are a lot of great rivalries, but most of them are regional. But everybody knows somebody that's in the Navy, or everybody knows somebody that's in the Army. So you got family members that stretch across our country. It's more than a regional game; it's a national game. It's our country's game.
And this Navy team has been performing so well all season. How confident are you in this Navy team to perform well for this Army-Navy game?
Well, I feel as good as I've felt in a long time coming this year, just from the standpoint that the hard work that our seniors have put in, their leadership, what I've seen from them all year. But I also recognize it's Army. I know they're going to come hard and play hard, and got a great coach. Great young men that are good players. They've obviously beaten us last couple of years, and so we have a tremendous amount of respect for them. But I just feel good about our kids. I feel good about our seniors and just everything they've done this year. And so all the signs have helped me to, I guess, calm my nerves, so to speak, as best you can. But I feel good about our guys.
Well, thank you so much, Coach. And Zach, back to you about the history of the game here in Philadelphia.
Out of 119 previous meetings between Army and Navy, 88 have been played in Philadelphia, and since 1945, only 10 games have been played outside the city of brotherly love. The first game in Philadelphia came back in 1899 when Army defeated Navy 17-5 at Franklin Field. Municipal JFK Stadium has hosted 41 Army-Navy games, the most out of any stadium in the country. The longest streak of games consecutively in Philadelphia came from 1945 to 1982, as in 1983 the game traveled to California for the first time. Overall, Navy holds a 44-40-4 advantage in the city of Philadelphia, and the 89th chapter in the City of Brotherly Love will be written on Saturday, December 14th. And another historic chapter in this rivalry coming next Saturday here in Philadelphia. Bree, you're a first-timer at this game. I've been here 6 times. What are some of the things you've heard about these games and the Army-Navy rivalry, and what are you most looking forward to about being here in Philadelphia next weekend?
I mean, I've heard so much. I've even heard it compared to games like the Super Bowl, and just the atmosphere I've heard is so electric. So I think I'm mainly excited to just see how intense this rivalry really is. I mean, these two teams both just go at it with all of their might. So I think I'm just really excited to see just the power of the rivalry.
It's something special, and for those of you who haven't experienced it, or even those of you who have experienced it 10, 15, 20 times, it really never gets old. And you mentioned the power and the passion of this rivalry. You know, they say it all the time. These two teams want to beat the pants off of each other. And that's one of Coach Monken's favorite quotes. You know, we respect them. We respect what they're going to do because they're brothers in arms with us. But for 3 hours on that Saturday, we want to beat the pants off of them. And that's what makes this so special. They're going to go at each other with everything they got for 60 minutes, but then they sing the alma maters at the end, and they're brothers, and they're fighting for this country.
Yeah, Zach, what has been some of your favorite moments? I know you said you've experienced 6 games, you said?
Yeah,
six games. So what's been some of your favorite all-time moments?
I mean, the 2016 game stands out because that was the game where we ended the streak, and that was the game Navy came in. They were highly ranked. They were in the top 25, and Army came in, winning that season more than they had in the past. But they didn't know if that was going to be the game, and that was the year we lost Brandon Jackson. And it was just memorable to not only win that game, but to see his mom there after the game and to be able to be with the team. And then the 2017 game played here in Philadelphia in the snow. Army wearing those 10th Mountain Division uniforms, all white, inspired by the World War II soldiers in the Alps. So playing that game in the snow was just a perfect atmosphere. And then the way the game ended with Army, after they surrendered the lead, Malcolm Perry got tripped up by the shoelaces by John Voight to save what would have been the game-winning touchdown. And then Ahmad Bradshaw punching it in for the Black Knights, putting him up, and then Bennett Mooring just missing that field goal wide to the left. 2 penalties pushed Navy out of field goal position. Just the way it ended was very memorable with everyone storming the field. But you're a first-timer not only in this rivalry but with Service Academy football, and Navy's had a really, really good season this year. So what's it been like for you to be able to be around such special young men and to be around people who not only play football on the highest level but are going on to one of the toughest commitments any 21, 22-year-old field can make.
Definitely. This season has been absolutely amazing with senior quarterback Malcolm Perry just having a phenomenal season. He's breaking records left and right for Navy. And then on top of that, we have fullbacks like Jamel Carruthers who have had a phenomenal performance every single game. And then, of course, just meeting head coach Ken Niumatalolo. I couldn't have imagined a better coach for here at Navy. And then just being able to talk to the players on the side about how they're just committing after for 5 years. Like, that is a huge deal. And just the passion that they have, not even on the field but off the field as well, has just opened my eyes so much. And it's just been such an incredible experience here at Navy.
Well, Philadelphia is the unofficial home of the Army-Navy game. Have you ever been to Philadelphia before? And if not, what are some of your bucket list items that you need to get done in this city next weekend?
So I've been one small time for a convention, but we didn't get out of the meetings too often. So I'm so excited to really experience Philly. And I think mainly I definitely need to try a cheesesteak first of all. I think I'll definitely have to go over. Do you have an opinion on the best cheesesteak?
Not cheesesteaks. I'm indifferent on the cheesesteaks. Reading Terminal Market, DeNick's,
Okay.
Italian-style pulled pork, sharp cheddar, and broccoli wrap. Coach Munkin recommends it. Says it's his favorite sandwich of all time.
So that's the go-to.
Go to
okay.
Reading Terminal
I'll have
Market.
to try that.
If you like food, and if for those of you who've never gone to the game before, check out Reading Terminal Market. Of course, you got the Liberty Bell at Independence Hall. Such a historic game in such a historic city. I think it's a perfect setting for the game.
Oh, yes. I'm so excited. So definitely experiencing the food, like you said. But anything else that you really think I should go to?
I mean, I'm a history buff, so
Okay.
I definitely say go to Independence Hall.
Okay.
Check it. Go early on Friday or go early on Sunday. There'll be no line for the Liberty Bell. I think you have to book a tour at Independence Hall. That'd be something cool if you have time to do. But just, go out and experience the city. It's been a great host to the Army-Navy game for so many years now, and we love coming back to this city year in and year out. And, we know it's going to be another special chapter. Whoever wins on the 14th of December, it's going to be a great game between two fierce competitors. But at the end, like we said, these guys are brothers in arms, and they're going to go defend the nation.
Definitely. I absolutely cannot wait to experience this game that everybody's been talking about, not only for the last few days, but the entire year. So extremely excited.
Well, the build-up is almost finished. The game coming up on December 14th here at Lincoln Financial Field as Army and Navy meet for the 120th time. Army looking for 4 wins in a row, but Brianna, I know Navy hopes to spoil that, win the Commanders-in-Chiefs trophy, and get their 10th win on the season. As we're going to wrap things up here from Philadelphia, for Brianna Sorensen, I'm Zach Daly. We'll see you on December 14th right back here at Lincoln Financial Field.